What is the hardest part of writing for you?
I think, at least for me, you need to have a lot of discipline to write. And I remember, because I visited his house in Key West, that like Ernest Hemingway, like he would have a practice of like, no matter what, he would always like, block out like 4 or 5 hours in the morning to write, no matter what. He would do that every single day. Some days he would write a lot, some days he would just write like 2 words, but he would always block out those hours to write. And so I think that that's maybe the hardest thing is, really maintaining that discipline and that self-motivation, because writing can be kind of lonely.
How many hours a day do you write? Do you do the same thing?
I have to say that I'm not as disciplined as Ernest Hemingway was, because what I really need to do is I need to like turn off my phone, because I get very easily distracted, like if I get a message or if I get a phone call. And what I need to do is I need to be completely focused, and then I can just kind of plow through pages that way.
Do you set goals for yourself?
Definitely. I'll be like, okay, I know I need to get like 30 pages by the end of this week. So, I work out, okay, so I'll do 5 this day, 6 this day, maybe this day I'll do 4. So then the next day I can do 7. So I definitely try and like figure out what my daily goals are to work to the big goal.
When you write your first draft of something, what's your next step? Do you put it away? Do you send it to somebody that will give you honest, maybe brutal feedback? What is your plan with that?
I think, so if I finished writing the first draft, I like to put it away for a little bit and try and create a space where I have like a little bit more objectivity, and then I read it, see if there's anything that I want to change. And if I'm like, no, I think I want to show this now, then I'll send it to someone whose opinion I really value.
And have you ever been critical of something you've written and then you've given it space and then you go, you know what, wow, this is actually great. I was too hard on myself. Or maybe vice versa, I don't know.
I mean, all I can really gauge is how much I enjoyed writing it. And I tend to find that the things that I enjoyed writing more are the ones that I get better feedback about. But I think that definitely I've had treatments that I've asked notes for and gotten very like critical notes, like pretty brutal feedback. And I've worried that like, oh, maybe this is just really bad and I should scrap it. But then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try again. And then I've applied with that same treatment for fellowships and like gotten into those. So it just goes to show that even if maybe it starts badly, that doesn't mean that it can't, end a bit better.
You've directed many short films, but this was your first feature. Were there like 1 or 2 things that you were totally surprised at as a first-time feature film director that you thought wouldn't happen, or it was just new to you because you're doing a longer format?
Mm-hmm. I think that, we definitely had some things come up that couldn't have been predicted. There was a weekend that we had to postpone shooting because there was a heat wave, like a really kind of, terrible heat wave in LA at the time. And that's something that it's like, usually with a short film, like, if you shoot for like 5 days, you're able to do those 5 days in a row. And if you have to postpone, it's maybe not that big a deal. But we were lucky that on the feature that happened more towards the end of the shoot, because I think if it had happened like in the beginning or in the middle, I think it would have been really catastrophic to like recover a rhythm. And I think that's the most important thing. I think I found that more on the feature than I did on the short, was how important for there to be like a rhythm that's been established, and how you do eventually become a very well-oiled machine after 2 weeks of working together. So that even when things don't go according to plan and you do have to postpone, it's okay, because when you do come back together, you're already so used to working with each other that you can just pick up where you left off.
Oh wow, I hadn't thought of that. That's really interesting. So it takes a few weeks to kind of get to know people's styles, not just their personality, but their like working styles.
And really like gel
Wow.
together. Yeah.
So then when this heat wave occurred, how many days did that take out of the production?
We still had 2 more full days, and I think a half day that we needed to do. So even though it was, you know, I mean, it wasn't great that we had to push back and we ended up losing our DP because he had already booked another shoot. It could have been worse. Yeah.